Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Good morning. Come on in. Hey, Kayla. Good morning to you. It's nice to see you here. It's been a very interesting couple of days, hasn't it, since Monday? I talked a little bit on Monday about that wobble that seemed to be coming in. Good morning. Hey, come on in, everybody. I'll give a moment to let everybody come on in. It's so good to see you here. Come on in, make yourself comfortable and at home. Good morning. Hello, Camilla. Nice to see you. Good morning, everybody coming in, or good afternoon, depending on where you are, or good evening. That is, I always often forget about little time changes sometimes. It's nice to see you. It's afternoon in the UK. There we go. Good morning, Miss Sister. Good to see you. I'm there we I'll give everybody another minute to come in before I start with a little bit of an energy update because it's quite interesting what I'm talking about today. At least I find it quite interesting anyway. I talked on Monday about this wobble that's been going on, and so many of you were experiencing that wobble, experiencing that energy coming in that's just kind of shifting. It felt very shifting to me. It also felt a little bit of questioning. A lot of questions came in with that wobble, and many of you were like, "I'm questioning things. I'm questioning everything, and where am I all in this space?" The wobble has settled down energetically a little bit. I did feel it kind of settle in a little bit, with a little less wobbling and a little less chaotic and a little less in my face, if you will, because that wobble was quite intense for many of us. I'm feeling that shift coming into a bit of a settling space. But one of the things that's coming in with that settling space and the reason for the wobble, because I sat in that, what's this wobble about? And one thing that's come up with this wobble is a lot of our old belief systems are shifting out collectively. Collectively, a lot of people are shifting into new ways of thinking and new belief systems and kind of being in that open-minded space. And sometimes we are tested in that. We're tested with it energetically. We're tested within ourselves, and sometimes we test ourselves, don't we, with can I walk the talk, and can I lean in there, and do I really want to go forward, and am I ready to let go? And sometimes with energy it can come in like a big wave, and like just literally like a tidal wave in to take away what no longer serves you. And we get in that wobble, and we kind of, am I ready? Do I want to? Can I lean into a different frequency with what's going on? And the challenge of it. And sometimes it's that challenge of it. And when I sat there with my own wobble, I thought, why am I feeling this wobble? Like, I'm usually pretty solid in where I'm going and what I want, and where spirit's directing me. And it's just getting us into that space of that settling into newness, settling into new belief systems, settling into that. And sometimes we pull back, and we get into that resistant space. So I'm curious to know if many of you have been coming into that resistive space sometimes of just resisting. Sometimes we go kicking and screaming into new beginnings and into new spaces, into new friends, and whatever newness is coming along around you. We're also getting closer to the solstice, and I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, I think it's Wednesday next week. So week today. And I think sometimes when we're coming into that powerful energy, I think sometimes we realize, what, I need to regroup, reground, re-cleanse, and getting into those spiritual practices even at a higher level, especially when we're wobbling. And it's all about learning and understanding. And one thing that spirit said to me during my meditation this morning was, you don't give yourself, meaning collectively, we often don't give ourselves that space of understanding. I'm growing right now. I'm learning something new, and I don't have to figure it out all in today. And we quite often get into that hard space with, I don't like it, and it's hard, and I don't, we kind of harden that energetically. And we always have choice and free will, and spirit's always been very clear on that. You don't have to change. We always have choice and free will, but we are going to show you, energetically, what needs to come in and what needs to go, and then we get to choose that. And when we sift and sort through a lot of that, sometimes we wobble and we process, and we're not ready to kind of have that clarity come in. But when we sit with it, so I'm curious to know on how many of you have kind of sat with that wobble, if you've kind of just allowed it, if you've allowed yourself to wobble and just softening, how you're wobbling with, I'm wobbling right now because I need to learn something. I'm wobbling right now because I'm processing something new. I'm wobbling right now because people are stepping back, and I'm stepping back, or there's new people coming in, or there's some change coming in. It's a bit of softening the energy as it flows through us. Emily says, I've been feeling wobbly and confused about where I am in life, like a change should be coming and it's not really happening. Do my guides have any messages for me about this time? So Emily, thank you very much for posting that question. I think collectively the message is trusting that wobble. And sometimes we're going to wobble, and as we go through that wobble, the clarity comes. I posted something on my Facebook page this morning to my group. I'm just going to pull it up here and I'll read it to you because I channeled it quite early this morning. And when I do a lot of channeling, I did a lot of channeling today. I don't often retain all my channeling because I'm actually not in my own headspace when I'm channeling. So I'll read it to you if you haven't seen my Facebook post this morning. I should have probably put it on Insta, but I forgot. It was really early and then I went to the gym. It's easy to trust the journey when life is easy, when things are going smoothly and you're getting all the answers clearly. Things get real when life gets rocky, and true trust is required. True trust is required. Big, powerful words. I just literally got spiritual goosebumps all over my body, as I did when I was channeling it. Let's see, where was I? There are so many moments in your life that test your strength and willingness to walk your talk and lean in on our spiritual strength. Being spiritual is not all about the good times and everything being beautiful and perfect in the world. It's also about the challenges, hard times, leaning into those challenges with a higher awareness that we are here to learn, grow, and help each other. When we lean into our journey with a perspective of embracing the learning, change and fear shift into deeper awareness that nothing is meant to stay the same, and growth and new beginnings are a beautiful blessing. You may not understand in the moment, but at some point we have the moment of, oh, now I get it. Learning awaits us all. Your authentic self wants to shine. Much love, beautiful souls. Don't follow the masses, follow your soul. So when you kind of tap into that with that wobble, and we're processing change, as humans, we quite often want to know all the answers all the time. Is it right? Is it wrong? Am I doing it? Am I doing it right? And I think when we kind of lean in there, like Spirit said, it's not always going to be easy and perfect and smooth. We're not always going to have that clarity. We're not always going to know the way. And sometimes we are following, almost in the dark. Like often it feels like, okay, I don't know where I'm going on this journey, but there's something there and there's something there. And, when we kind of lean into that and soften that a little bit with learning awaits, learning is waiting for me, and kind of wob what's I'm trying to hear what they're saying is the wobble is for a purpose, and we're wobbling right now. Many of us are, and how we're managing that wobble. So when you're feeling that wobble, what kind of increases the wobble? We can feed the wobble as well. We can feed it, and there's so many things that we add into it. One thing that I've learned when I'm wobbling is sometimes I need to step back from a few things. I need to step back from opinions of others. I often need to step back and just kind of like reground myself, get myself breathing. Where am I trusting? Sit in some reflection. I'll often journal. I just kind of give myself and I hold myself in that space. Shaz, I've been wobbling with my exams. Any messages from spirit guides, especially August 17th, 2023? Shaz, I really feel that I feel you quite prepared. I feel you when I lean in there, I feel like you have done a lot to prepare yourself. You've worked really hard. I feel like you've got to lean into that energy as you continue to prepare for your exams. I don't feel worried with these exams at all. I feel like you're smarter than you're acknowledging. You were prepared than what you were acknowledging. I would keep on the preparing, but I would soften how you're looking at it and kind of pulling away the fear of failure, when we lean into, I mean, nobody really wants to fail, and we worry about that. But I've got to your spirit guides are pushing you into the opposite energy of that. I've been working really hard. That I have been studying. I'm going to trust the journey. I need to push you in that a little bit, Chaz, and just trusting. I don't feel worry. I feel beginnings. I feel like lighter. I feel, after the 17th of August with you. Fear of failure sounds familiar, says Wesley. Yeah. And a bit of the fear of failure. And let's just be brutally honest with that. We're kind of taught that. We're kind of programmed that way. Even though the people around us may have meant well, but you have to get good grades or else, everybody's watching you, so you better do a good job. And I've had my own experiences with that in the last 3 weeks. I have had my own, what if I can't do this? Right? What if, and it's about taking that step back and saying, yeah, what? Maybe I won't be able to do this, but I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to give this a try. And if I fall on my face, so be it. And I'll pick myself back up, and I'm going to try again, or another door will open, or perhaps this isn't where I'm meant to go, and the universe will direct me in that. I've really had to practice that really hard the last 3 weeks. In Spirit's been showing me something that, for a lot of other people that I've been working with, doesn't make sense to them, but it makes sense to me, and I'm trusting that. And if and I've kind of had to get to my own space with, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not, people not resonating with what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. That's part of my big piece in my learning. Right? Because I think sometimes, it's really, when things are going well, it's easy to be in spiritual alignment. But when there's all these eyes on you, or the fear of failure coming at you, or what if I'm wrong coming at you, and your own thoughts participate in that, don't they? Your own thoughts participate in what if I'm wrong? What if, okay, so, and Spirit has answered me with that, with, if you're wrong, you're learning. And if you're wrong, there's lessons that you're supposed to learn in that. And as humans, we go, we take that panic of I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to fail at this. I don't, and of course we don't. Of course we don't. But if I need to learn something through that process, I have learned to get my chin up. I'm proud of myself for even attempting it, for even attempting that learning, and we wobble through that, don't we? We wobble through that because, of course, we don't want to go back to the beginning. I have had many experiences in my lifetime, as I'm sure many of you have, where it feels like you're on this race or this relay, and you're kind of running and running and running, and then it's like, no, I'm back at the beginning, start again. And we often go back to the beginning, kicking and screaming. I don't want to start over again. I don't want to. And we have those little temper tantrums. I've had many of my own. I've said that with Spirit, like, oh, come on, like, here I go again. And I've just changed it. I've changed it to, here I grow again. And a big part of our mindset is a huge piece to this. It's after I've had my own physical world temper tantrums, if you will, or releases. Sometimes my releases are not always fuzzy bunny and, oh, I'm going to let this go. Sometimes I'm stomping my feet and hollering like, what the heck? Right. But once I've released that, I shift into, well, here I grow again. I'm back at the beginning. I'm going to learn again, or something new, or I'm going in a different direction, or this is part of my journey. And I think we wobble with all this fear sometimes, and we pull in so many things that we truly don't need to. What are people going to think? What if I'm wrong? We pull that in, and it's a lot of work to reprogram those thoughts, because depending on how old you are, that's how many years you've had that. You got to be successful. You can't fail. You got to do it right. And and a lot of the physical world runs that way too, doesn't it? Like, the physical world does run on accuracy. When you think about different careers, you can't be making all these big mistakes in your careers. So we bring in that fear of, well, what if I'm wrong? What if I make a mistake? And we get tangled up in that, and we don't necessarily learn until much later on in our journey to kind of untangle that and come to that different space and that different conclusion. Let's have a look at some of these comments. So, Emily, I did read yours. Kayla, your channel has taught me the importance of growth and how to lovingly push myself to evolve. Lovingly push yourself. Absolutely. And that gets hard, doesn't it, Kayla? I've made it very open and honestly with you all here. It's a struggle for me too. I've had to push myself and love myself through a very difficult learning experience. In the last, it'll be 4 weeks tomorrow actually, that I've been kind of working with something with spirit, and I have really had to love myself. And I was thrown a lot of energy from a lot of people threw different energy at me with, what if you're wrong? And I'm like, this is how I feel, and this is what my gut's telling me. So you're right, Kayla. It's how to lovingly push yourself to evolve. And with evolving comes learning, and that's one thing. And I know I've spirit has chirped this so many times about, we are here in a classroom to learn, and we're here in this physical world to do certain things and to make certain changes, and we kind of push against that or forget that once in a while. I need my own reminders as well. Okay, Shaz, I answered that. I'm learning to stay in my lane. Yeah. I think learning to stay in our lane is something, we get really good at, and then sometimes we make an exit and get out of our lane sometimes too. That is staying in our own lane is a process. I think that, we're constantly leaning into and reminding ourselves, and I will do that with myself. Am I in or out of my own lane? Or is that my stuff, or is that somebody else's stuff? Be careful what I'm picking up. It's just that awareness that we're always leaning into. And sometimes we lean out of it sometimes, and we do get that reminder sometimes, like, whoa, and I talked about it. I talked about it earlier this week and last week, is sometimes people with that claw out, to kind of like, and when that happens, when somebody comes at me that way energetically, I just have to get back in my own, make sure I'm in my own lane. And I also have to remind myself that they've got something going on in their lane that I don't have to drive in or dance. And lovely comment. I appreciate that. Wesley, I just saw that on Facebook page. Yeah, it was a lovely quote. I was up very early this morning with Spirit. Spirit woke me up at, like, I think it was like 3:45. And I woke up, and usually I wake up like most people with a little bit of, kind of takes a while for me to to get moving. But no, it was like an instant awake, and just like right. And yeah, I channeled some beautiful stuff. Donna, Spirit told me to go on YouTube. At last I caught alive. Hi, Lana. I've been feeling overwhelmed and depressed. Do you have any messages from my loved ones on the other side? Donna, when I leaned in there, instantly I leaned into your spirit guides. I need and our loved ones are always trying to help and support and love us through our difficult times. But when I lean in there energetically with you, I've got a spirit guide that is like a force of energy with healing. I'm seeing a lot of healing light. I'm seeing a lot of greens. Greens for me is very healing light when I see it from the spirit dimensions. I feel like you're going through a lot of healing, and I feel that it's, a lot of deep healing is what you're going through right now. And they're kind of like replacing that word overwhelmed and depressed with, I'm going through some deeper healing. I do feel you very much coming out on the other side of that with feeling much lighter, with a lot of letting go. Some of it you understand and some of it you don't, and that's okay. But I feel you navigating through that, and I need you to know you're supported. I don't know if sometimes you don't feel supported, or if you don't and I'm not sure if it's an allowing thing, because I feel like I need to use that word, allow yourself to be supported. I feel like I've got to give you that you're supported and guided and loved. And on the other side of a lot of this healing, and it feels very deep, and what's really interesting is spirit showing it to me in a really interesting way. I don't think I've ever experienced this before when it comes to healing, is, like that deep ice, or like that menthol that you put on muscles, and it kind of soaks in, and it like that deep healing. I feel like that you're going through this, and it's a hard process, but it's also a beautiful process, Donna, that you're going to be going through that with that deep. It feels like a deep things that, perhaps you might not even be aware that you're holding on to, or experiences that are still kind of mulling around and, within you energetically. I feel you going through that. But this whole allowing the support. So I also, like, I don't know if you hold people out or just kind of hold support back a little bit. I've got to kind of like scoop you up and just kind of, I'm going to absorb that energy, and I'm going to absorb that support. I really need to give that to you, Donna. I hope that makes a lot of sense. And it's nice that you were able to catch me here on a live. Freya, I've been feeling called to challenge the status quo and been surprised how the people around me have been accepting of my goals. I was accepting more resistance, but now I'm getting a lot of support. Yeah, so there you have it. That was worded really, really well. Was this resistance space that we get in. And sometimes we do, like, do people judge us? Yeah, a lot of the times they do, and they're going to anyway, right? So I mean that's a given, and it's a well-known fact. But also we participate in that with that resistance, with, what are they going to think, and what if this and what if that. For me, it's all energy. It's big energy for me. And sometimes with our own stuff going on, we can call in that. We can call in more of it. We can call in more of what we don't really want, just based on our own programming and what we're kind of dealing with and coping through to begin with. Resistance is something that I always try to be aware of myself. Am I resisting change? Am I being pushed? And how do you know that you're resisting? Well, if quite often it's repeat patterns, isn't it? The same kind of storyline in the same, with different characters or players coming in, but it's the same thing, right? It seems to be like the same theme that we haven't quite learned or accepted or moved through. It does repeat for us, because what spirit will say is, how about now? Like, things need to change. You need to go in a different direction. So how about now? And we're like, heck no, I'm not yet. I'm gonna resist this a little bit longer. And then there may be a calming period. And then again, a very similar situation or scenario or feeling or emotion. And it's, your spirit guides are saying, well, Lana, how about now? Are you ready now? And when we resist it, and we do have that choice and free will, spirit always, people always ask me, does spirit get mad when we don't listen? No, they don't get mad when we don't listen. They know that we're here learning, and they know that it's hard sometimes for us to maneuver around a lot of that learning. So they're here to support and to love and to guide. And they understand the whole classroom space that we're in here too. But things will repeat until we say, oh, now I get it. I needed to leave that job, and I need to do it, or I need to step back from that relationship, or now I'm ready to. And that's the other thing is this whole readiness. We've got to be ready to navigate through that. The comments this morning are absolutely amazing. I love it. So I answered that one about Shaz. Oops, sorry here. I just scrolled too fast. My apologies here for the delay. Every now and again, I go crazy with my mouse. Maybe it's spirit doing it to me. Maruna. I had pain in my left shoulder ever since June came with its change. Could I have some spiritual advice from my guides? Maruna. So first of all, with any kind of pain or physical, or if physical issue, I always say make sure that you've had it checked out by a physician or by your healthcare provider. Number one, always. So that would be my first question: is have you had it checked out? Quite often, though, we do hold energy in our physical body. So our physical body can hold on to trauma. It can hold on to energy. It can hold on to fear. And for many of us, the most common place we hold that energy, it's either going to be in the neck and the shoulders, right? The tension, we hold it there, and we often hold it in our heart space, in our chakra, which is sometimes, not always, but sometimes it can present itself as a little bit of anxiety, or we hold it there, that tightness. Always see a physician. I'm gonna put that in there as well. We can hold energy from experiences within our physical body. Some of us do it quite naturally in that tension, like, or the jaw is another good place. Our chakra spaces are another space that we often hold that, and it can't present itself as pain. So one thing that so I'm just gonna reread your comment here. It came with its change. Could I somehow spiritual advice from my guides? Okay. So Maruna, when I lean in there a little bit, I feel, and it almost feels like I'm carrying a heavier backpack on that left shoulder. So, when you're carrying a backpack and, when it gets heavy and your posture goes off, I feel like there's just something else energetically or emotionally that you just haven't quite put down yet. And if you're feeling that it connects to the change that you went through, I would just kind of sit with it, revisit it, and kind of work through that with your own healing powers. But again, Maruna, I know I've said this before, and I am very careful, and I also, you need to make sure that it's not a medical issue as well. Kimberly, oh my God, I just quit my job due to lack of appreciation and an unnecessary stress that ultimately affected my health. Do my guides have any messages for me about my health and overall job situation? I'm not worried as far as work goes. I feel work comes to you quite easily. But I also feel that this situation, Kimberly, is showing you because I have my balancing scale, and I also can see a trapeze person like trying to do a balancing act. I feel one of the things that is being shown to you is this whole balance. Some like I feel like I need to balance. I need to balance. I need to balance the stress. I need to get you breathing more. I also need to get you outside. I need to get you to feel the earth beneath you. All of those simple spiritual practices. I need to kind of get you more grounded. Stress and negativity and not being satisfied, those are all energies that we carry in our physical body, and we weren't meant to. We've never been meant to carry all that stress without giving it an outlet, because stress is going to happen. Gong show happens. We have moments where it's a lot to cope with, and it's not a matter of navigating through it with rose colored glasses and fuzzy bunny attitude all the time, but it's how we balance it. It's how we give ourselves an outlet to let go of that stress. I am very strict. It is right in my Google calendar that I need these practices at these times to let go of what's going on around me. And if the stress around me increases, I increase my spiritual practices to balance the physical world stuff that I'm learning, so that I'm not carrying it, so that I've got an outlet to put it down, and I give myself the chance and the opportunity to lean in there. And I've had to turn the volume up on that very, very recently, where I've just had to shut down. And that's the other thing we don't do often enough. We don't shut down. We're always stimulated in some way. Just think about for a moment. And I have found myself in the past, guilty of this as well. Just something as reading a lot of comments on social media on how much that's stimulating us, and how much that other people's fear and other people's perspectives can affect us. And when you layer that in with whatever else is going on in your world, we're not practicing the pause long enough to put that into balance. And Kimberly, I feel that with that balance, I feel you feeling so much better. I also feel, Kimberly, I don't know if I'm feeling it energetically or as weight. So I feel like like physical weight. So I don't know if this job has caused a little bit of weight gain, or if it's just the heaviness that I'm feeling. But I feel with this, I feel a lighter. I even feel your physical body lighter with going on the other side of this. So I just feel this, I just feel lighter. So I'll leave that there with you. I just got to keep an eye on the time. I'm going to be a little bit mindful today. Jocelyn, I've been nursing my baby bunny this whole week. She's been really sick with GI status. Do you think she'll pull through? I'm really worried. Um, I'm really worried about this bunny. I don't feel, and I know you've mentioned already the GI stuff, but I also feel she's not absorbing enough of the fluid. I feel like there's just something else. I feel like there's something else going on here with this little baby bunny. I'm worried. I'm gonna send some healing energy if you're okay with that. I'll see what I can tap into and just send some healing there. I also need you to know that you are doing an amazing job at helping. So I don't know, fair enough. If you've been doing enough, if you've been feeling like, am I doing enough? Is this my fault? Can I do more? I feel like you are doing the best that you can to help this little soul. I'm a little bit worried. So I'm going to, if you're okay with that, you can just leave me a comment that you're okay with that. I'm going to send some healing and some support for both you and that bunny. TB, oh my God, I made a life. I'm calling it a birthday gift from the universe. Happy birthday, darling. Fear of failure is big for me. It's a big one. 100%. It's a big one. And it's something that we all navigate through. So when you're feeling that, again, I try not to repeat too much, but if you're just joining in with the whole fear of failure, just kind of work on the programming that's been there, and it goes back, right? Like, and like, the teachers on our journey, mean us well, but it's the whole, you've got to pass, you've got to do it right, you've got to do it this, you've got to be successful. It creates this fear. It's, I feel, if I can just kind of venture off into this energy for a moment, I think we kind of need to look at how we're teaching people, and and what success means, like where the bar of success means. Is the bar of success for you everything has to be right all the time in order to be successful, or is the bar of success your true best, and your true efforts in every moment are good enough? I've worked on that with my own family, and the little people that are in my life. Is, if your best, if your true best, you gave it your all, was a 40%, I am proud of you. Right? If that's your best. I mean, we push into, like, the bar has to be 100% or 90% or 80% in order to be successful. The bar for your success is your best in that moment. Was it my best in that moment? And if you answer yes, that was the best in my moment, then that's, you've got to do that. You've got to get that chin up. Nisa, I've been drawn to sunflowers lately. Does it have spiritual significance? There's a lot of spiritual significance to that question, Nisa. When I lean in there, so I'm going to lean in there both with the knowledge that I already know about sunflowers, as well as what your spirit guides are telling me. So I really feel that this drawn to sunflowers is really, and you've probably already felt that, because I can already hear you saying, yeah, I knew that. Is this draw into the brighter side of things. There's so much going on in this physical world that we kind of lean into with what is wrong, what isn't going right, with all these fear, with yeah, but this, and yeah, but that. And I feel you're being drawn to sunflowers to really kind of tap into, there's also a lot of beauty. There's also a lot of things that are right in this magic moment. And I feel like the sunflowers and that yellowness, and also with sunflowers, where do they face? Right? Where does the face of a sunflower look? To the sun. When this, when it's dark, they're down, and when it's sunny, they're up. And I think that you're being pulled into that is chin up, right? Follow the light, follow the sun, follow the magic, follow the moment. I feel like I've got to get you to kind of go deeper. I'm sure you already do work hard at living in the moment, but I need you now to dig deeper. And Spirit's literally showing me that with like a little shovel, little garden shovel, with dig it, take it a little bit deeper. There's no bottom or plateau or limit to joy and the magic. There's no, and we can always go a little bit deeper. I love that, by the way. Thank you. We can always go a little bit deeper with our shovel to find, the next level of joy, a little bit more of that, a little bit more of the sunny times. I just feel that, I don't know if you're being pulled into a lot of worry or concern, or if there's more worry or concern, but I have to, again, with this balance with, there's a lot of sunny day, and looking into that. I'm also seeing, I'm not done with this topic, because I'm seeing the black seeds of sunflowers. And I think that's that represents a lot of planting for me. I think you're going to come into the space of planting your own seeds of wisdom. I don't know if you have been sharing it or sharing your spirituality, but I see you kind of like planting and making like these rows of these sunflower seeds, and being the spreader of more joy when you think about that. I love that. Spirit's very, very, very visual with me today. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with my day, because they're just extremely, extremely visual. And they're not always. I'll throw that in there. For those of you who are hanging out with me a little bit more, is spirit changes, with how they're working with me. Sometimes it's from minute to minute. It's not always the same, but it's really interesting on what they're doing with me today. See where we go. I do have to be very mindful of time. So I answered that one. I'm trying to get to as many as I can. I know you guys feel that and know that. But I do like you to know that I do try really hard to get to as many questions and comments that I possibly can. Okay, so TB. Dog has been having a rough time, but she's hanging in there. I can't tell if I'm keeping her because I don't want to lose her, or if she's happy and comfortable. I just want her happy. Okay, so I'm going to lean in there, and if I can just have a moment with that to listen in. When I shift gears like that, I just need a moment to kind of tap back in. I do feel, TB, that the dog is preparing you. I feel that the dog wants you to be ready. I really feel that, and I feel like you're going to hear it and know it very deep, and it's going to be like that. It's going to be very much okay, it's now. I feel the dog is ready to go. I feel she's really close. I feel like, but the dog's last piece to going is, I need you to be okay, and I need you to be ready to let me go. I feel like there's just this, and I know we all have incredible relationships with pets. I just feel such a strong connection here. I think this dog has been through a lot with you. You have been through a lot with the dog, and there's that support piece there. I'm also rarely aware of my digestive system, so I don't know if that's you or the dog, but I've got some stomach stuff going on that's not mine. So I there's something there stomach wise. And again, I'm not sure if it's you or the dog, but I'm very very aware of that. I feel the dog is trying to prepare you. So it's like having those hard conversations with the dog, have like just letting the dog know that I'm working on, preparing to let you go. I'm working on, and I think that you're going to get this feeling of, okay, I'm ready now. And so is the dog. I do think there is a preparation. I think the dog's last piece is preparing you. So I will leave that there with you, TB. Kayla, there are so many people finally catching your live today. Welcome everyone. Yes, welcome everyone. It's great. Yeah, there's 30 people watching. That's I don't usually check, but as soon as I saw that comment, Kayla, yeah, there's 30 people watching. Sometimes I do miss the comments. I try to go through them in order, one at a time, but like I said, I Spirit does their best. Joy, it's hard not going into temper tantrums at the moment. I'm gonna tap into my singing bowl. Did you hear? I'm not sure if you heard that echo. My singing bowl is quite a bit of a distance away from me, and my voice triggered that a pitch with it. Joy, sometimes I think it's necessary to go off and have your own private temper tantrum. I really do. I went and did mine on the weekend. I literally went out into the forest and I stomped my feet and I kicked and screamed and I did I don't want, like, what the heck? I literally did that. I did it privately. I did it in a place that is safe for me to let go. I needed to do a little bit of forest bathing. I needed to have my temper tantrum, and I needed to release that. And I think sometimes when you think about holding on to that type of energy, when you think about holding on to it, what often happens, and I'm sure we have all can all sit here and nod, yeah, it kind of volcanoes, doesn't it? And sometimes we explode and it can come out either towards the wrong people or in the wrong way, or in an energy that we just we wish we would have processed a little bit different. So if you need to have that temper tantrum, find yourself a nice safe space. Privacy is great. Privacy is great. One time I was having a temper tantrum, just going back a couple years. I thought I was alone in the forest that I hang out in quite a bit, and I'm gonna have my temper tantrum right here. And there was another hiker within eye and earshot. And after my temper tantrum, he actually came over to me with a bottle of water and said, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And he's, "Feel better now? Feel better now?" And then we had this conversation about what I was doing and why I went to the forest. And he said, "Do you mind if I have a temper tantrum and you can watch me?" And I'm like, "You can have your temper tantrum, but I think I'm going to give you your privacy." But yeah, you know what, Joy, go and have a temper tantrum if you feel it. Sometimes we need to. We're not meant to. Like I said, we're not meant to hold that energy. Okay. Um. Cranky Pants McGee. Question: Can you ask Spirit if my spirit guides, guardian angels have a message for me? Cranky Pants, when I lean in there, I'm hearing a lot of applauding. I'm literally hearing like that applauding. I just have to lean in there a little bit deeper. With this applauding, I feel that it's coming from your spirit guides, acknowledging some of the work that you've been doing. Have you been doing a lot of deep work on yourself? Have you been working processing, letting go, working on your own spirituality. And what I really need to acknowledge is, and I have this little fairy kind of skipping along with tiny steps, is sometimes the steps that I literally have to bounce when I'm talking, when I'm connecting to you. Sometimes our steps are that tiny. They can be really tiny, but we do need to feel them and acknowledge them as well. So I don't know if you struggle with acknowledging even the tiniest steps as being significant, but I also kind of got to get you to kind of have more of a bounce, less of a this way with it, right? I need to get you kind of bouncing, with it, just kind of in that vibration. It's very fairy for me. With and with fairy energy, they bring a lot of fun and a lot of different insights. And I feel like I've got to get you to be more bouncy. It's just I got to get you in that bouncing vibration. I hope you understand that. But you're doing amazing work. And even those teeny tiny little fairy steps, and you think about how tiny a fairy footprint would be, I need you to acknowledge that, because your spirit guides are acknowledging it. So when they're acknowledging something they need you to acknowledge, it's kind of like, just sit with that, just kind of process that. And I'll leave that here with you. Yeah, there's a lot of new people here. Well, oh my goodness, my heart is so filled with joy that some of you have been able to catch that. Let me just see here. I'm going to take a few more. Um, I'm using that analogy while walking the dogs. They're learning too. Absolutely, we're all learning, and sometimes I'm just gonna peek into that a little bit. Sometimes that is the best energy to lean into when we're dealing with other people or with animals or whoever's coming on our path that is bringing a little bit of a storm with them, or they're struggling too. They're learning too. And I've said that before in one of my lives, one of my videos, is sometimes other people are learning patience, and they're learning to let go, and they're learning alignment. We're all here learning. We're all students. So giving that space of grace. TB, you were so right about the tests this week, by the way. Okay. I'm glad that the spirit gave you some validation there. Cranky Pants. I've been working with my Fae recently. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I love it. I really love when they're, do I need it? No. Do I really love it? Yes. I love the power of spirit. And it doesn't always have to make sense in the exact moment, but I'm glad that resonates with you. So, with the Fae energy, make sure that you are acknowledging even your tiny steps. That's one thing that they are really pushing me on to lean in there. I hope that you can feel that. I don't think we often pause long enough to feel some of our good stuff too, right? So I need that to kind of sink in with some of you. Don't be afraid to sit there with a little bit of, you did your best today and it was good enough. And I think Cranky Pants, you need to hear that. You did your best today and it was good enough. Sometimes it's we don't lean in there. Let's see where I need to go. Kayla, can you please ask my spirit guides if they have any messages for me? Kayla, when I lean in there with your energy, you're a big giver of other people. You give a lot of your own energy, to other people. Like, it's like, here's some love and light, and here's this, and I feel like you do a good job with that, but I think sometimes it's the refuel for me. So I don't know if you've been a little bit low, energetic wise, like, just kind of like, I need to kind of top you up. It's almost like I need to just give you a loving reminder from your spirit guides. So don't forget to fuel your own. Like, don't forget your own gas tank. Don't forget that sometimes you got to go first, and don't forget about the things that are important for you. I keep hearing that I keep hearing it as a don't forget. Don't forget you. Don't forget. Like, I, and that's really an interesting space to kind of hear it in, is don't forget you. So, and 'cause I really feel, it's like, I feel, Kayla, that if I was to knock on your door or meet you on the street, I feel that you would just give whatever you possibly could to help other people, whether it be words or energy. I feel like I could ask you for a sandwich. I don't know why I'm feeling I could ask you for a sandwich. It's a bit of an interesting thing to say, but I I feel like you would make things happen for other people the best that you can. Remember you too in that. So I hope that resonates there with you. Oh my goodness, it's 9:25. We've been here just over 43 minutes. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed your morning with me. I was really grateful that I was able to hang out a little bit longer. Some mornings I have to get to clients right away, right by 9 o'clock. So I sometimes I shorten them, and when I can stay, I stay as long as I can. I know I say this all the time, but I really need to say it again, and probably again and again. I love my time with you on this channel. This is our channel. It's all of us as a community. I'm loving it. I feel so good with starting my day hanging out here with you all. The support that you give each other, the support that you give me, and all of the cheering and the energy here. It is such a beautiful vibration to start the day in. I kind of pout a little bit when I can't get on. I do. I kind of pout because, and then I just lean into the energy anyway. There's so many people out there that are cheering for each other and are supporting each other. And, I send it out energetically, but I truly do love my time here with you. As always, love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Much love, everyone.